you've been pretty open about your mission, which is like connection and enlightenment, unless that's changed, because
Yeah,
obviously things change.
they
But
do.
I think it's like that's a beautiful mission. I don't
Thank
think you
you.
can do much better than those two
Oh,
things. On your path to enlightenment, I think with a lot of that content, we talk a lot about healing and like trauma and things like that. Two things that I'd love your perspective on are how do you get into a place where you are open to healing, like you're able to heal and forgive and like really embody that? And then how do you avoid the trap of perpetually needing healing?
I'm hurting myself by not forgiving. I'm not hurting the other person. The hand that dealt that pain, me hating and they're not receiving that. So it's like, what are you doing? You're just hurting yourself more by being unwilling to forgive that. And just because you forgive something doesn't make what happened okay. You're not justifying or allowing that to happen again. I forgave. And now I have learned and I have different boundaries. Not for that person. I have a different boundary for myself because I can't control that person. They might do the same thing again, but they won't get the same response from me because I've learned. And so, in order to really, I think, learn that lesson, you have to be willing to forgive first. Because if you're still in hatred and blame and victim mentality, you can't grow. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like, first, I have to allow that to process. So, giving yourself the space to process that and really let it go. And being willing to do it multiple times. Some hurts take a lot of forgiveness over and over. You're like, haven't I already done this?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, well, maybe you have, but now obviously you need to do it again. Just like you said, if I really talk about this topic, I'm going to cry. And there have been many things in my life where I felt like that. And thankfully now, I sometimes I like to check in with those things like, okay, how do I feel about that now? Like, can I talk about it now? And so I think it's an important part. And honestly, as I progressed down that path of forgiveness, what I really came to, and this is going to sound so woo woo, and I don't even know if it's right. It just works for
Well,
me.
we've got
I know.
crystals and
Like,
baby Buddhas, so you
rub them all.
bring the woo.
I'm like, I really don't feel like I have to forgive others anymore. Who
Mm.
am I to forgive you? Come on, man. We're all on a journey. That doesn't mean that I just don't think it's really necessary. I used to feel like until that person apologizes, I can't forgive them because they need to learn their lesson and I would be letting them, overstep boundaries and and now I'm like, that has nothing to do with anything. They are being who they are and they're in that part of their journey. And all I can do is accept them for who they are and create new boundaries.
So it sounds like you've even almost like transcended the idea of forgiveness. Not
I
like
know. I'm
not
like,
like I don't need to forgive. I'm going to hold on to a grudge. Like
it's
there
not
is no forgiveness
necessary.
because there is no wrong.
There's
Like
no
I
wrong.
haven't been
Yeah,
wronged.
you haven't wronged
Wow.
me. And I know that sounds so crazy, but I'm just like, I don't need to forgive anymore. It used to be
Wow.
such a big thing. Like, you have to acknowledge that you have wronged me.
Mm.
And now I'm just like, I don't care. I
Mm.
don't care because now I look at your behavior and I'm like, do I want to continue with this? Do I want to still be here with you as you behave this way? Or am I going to create a new boundary for me? And me creating that new boundary does not mean I have to tell you I've created it. You're not allowed to treat me this way. I need an apology. No. I just observe you. I see how your actions make me feel.
Mm.
If I think there needs to be clarification because this isn't the way you normally behave, then I will do that. Or if you've shown me over and over that this is how you're going to behave and not change, then I have to set up a boundary for myself that when this, then that. It's very simple. And therefore, I don't have to forgive you. If you're still abusing that, then I need to look at myself.
Yeah.
Because it's like, whoa, I'm allowing this. It's not you, it's me.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
We don't think about forgiving our dog every time they bark, even though we don't like it. Right?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, I'm either going to accept that that's who you are. I'm going to put a shock collar on you, or I'm going to, there's only so many different things you can do. And then you can decide you don't want to have a dog. Right?
Yeah.
So I know
Sometimes
it sounds.
that's where I'm at.
Yeah. Well, I think we all hit that at different things in our lives. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't feel like it's necessary anymore.
Mm.
And now all the gurus go ahead. And God knows what kind of post you'll get on this one, but that's how I feel.
No,
Just like,
that's really, I haven't heard anyone think that because I think a lot of people get caught in the trap of thinking that they need the direct apology from whoever was like the perpetrator.
Yeah.
No, you do not. You can do
No.
these exercises by yourself and,
It's not about them.
No.
Stop giving them the power. The only
Right.
power they had was to do the action. Don't give them any power on your healing journey.
Mm-hmm.
No.
No, that's up to you. And I think
Yeah.
relinquishing a lot of that energy, I mean, they've done studies that if you're holding on to, like, whether it's like anger or jealousy or whatever kind of grudge, it actually can manifest as weight, like actual physical weight on
Feels
you.
that way. We
Right.
all have
So we like
experienced
feel
that.
the weight, but we also
Yeah.
can gain the weight. So
Oh,
there is,
interesting.
yeah.
Like you'll eat
You'll
to
eat,
compensate.
or your body will start storing it, right? Like the
Mhm.
body keeps the score. We process it in different ways. So some people that could be like belly fat or whatever. You're like,
Yeah.
your butt starts getting bigger. And if you start
I just need
doing,
to figure out who's fucked with me to make my butt bigger. I'm like, this is your fault. I'm just kidding. I knew it was something.
something's happening.
not what I was eating.
Some kind of energy is back there.
It's that big ass energy.
Seriously. It's not a bad
Sorry,
thing.
I just totally derailed. That's the squirrel in me. I'm like, nuts. Okay.
Butt? Did someone say butt?
Did someone
No.
say a big butt?
But when you start doing this healing, you could actually start seeing you lose physical weight, and then
Yeah.
you'll start feeling better. So
Yeah.
if you can get to the point where you don't even need to do those exercises because you're like, there was no wrongdoing and I'm not holding that, then
Yeah.
that's amazing. But definitely, like, the worst thing you could do is nothing. Like the worst
Yeah.
thing is if you have the feelings, right? Is like harbor it and say,
Yeah.
this is my righteous anger and I'm entitled to it. But on the flip side, so getting into those people that are perpetually healing, right? Like
Mhm.
there is
Oh,
almost
that
a
was your other-
culture
Mhm.
of
I'm broken.
I'm so broken and my traumas, and this is my 17th ayahuasca journey in 2 days, and God told me through a direct download, like all of like it's everywhere. And it's not to say that this doesn't happen with some people, but there are people that are abusing it or that are identifying with this perpetuated victim mentality.
Unconsciously, I
Right.
assume most of it, right?
Hopefully. Yeah, hopefully
Yeah.
it's not conscious. But how do you start to wake up, or are there any traps to avoid in constantly being stuck in healing culture?
That is a really good one. I remember I had a coach one time tell me, "You don't need to read any more books, Elisha." And I was like, "What do you mean I don't need to read any more books?" She was like, "No, you need to look inside of you. The wisdom's already there." And we kind of hit on that earlier. The wisdom isn't owned by anyone. It's there if you want to access it. And so will we all always be on a journey of growth? Yes. Am I always on a journey of healing? No. And I think that I'm on even less journeys of healing as I've accepted that there's nothing to forgive. These are all growing experiences. That's it. That's all it is. It's just a game. It's like, oh, okay, this happened and now I get to grow and I can set a new boundary for myself. I'm creating my reality. We all are. And so even especially with close relationships, when I feel hurt, that's a cue to me of like, okay, I feel hurt. What am I going to do about this? Am I going to talk with them about it? Am I going to set a new boundary for myself? Am I going to, and the most beautiful thing is when you can feel that and then you can wish the person the best.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you know what? I hope that all of your heart's desires come true. I hope that all of the love, joy, and happiness that you're looking for, you find. And in that, so will I.